Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go over the trades that we took inside the Discord as well as the plan going into tomorrow. So this is what we look like on the 30-minute chart here. So right off the open, you guys know that this whole entire week we were bullish, and even off of the open, market was still bullish. We did lose this 50 SMA, which is a key pivot for the bulls. In order for the bulls to completely lose the trend, we got to see this chart go negative, and that's actually what happened today. So the bulls lost the trend for the first time in over a week. And we did get a move down, move lower, and I'm gonna show you guys how we could have played this today. So if you go to the 0-day chart, it was a really choppy day. I mean, if you guys were trading today, super choppy. And this is the great thing about the system, man. The system didn't give a single trade until the market actually started moving. You could have played some small scalps, but if you look here on the 0-day chart, there is zero reason to be tossing any longs on the table. We never got a call cross, and in turn, there's no reason to go long. So if we flip to the put side now, if you look here on the puts, you can see we were just chopping around this 50 SMA all day. If you wanted to, I mean, you could have taken some low risk long entries here at the 50 because we were still sitting at higher time frame support like the 1 hour 50 and dancing around the 30-minute 50. So it was still possible that the bulls could hold this trend. So if you did want to play some longs, low risk longs, you could buy these 50 taps, but those aren't the most probable setups. The 0-day crosses are the most probable setups, and this is what we got towards the end of the day in the last like 2 hours. So we ended up getting this put cross. I didn't call this out. It just moved too fast by the time I entered this. I didn't want to give the Discord a late entry, but nice 0-day crosser here. 10 above the 50. You could have bought this little 10 dip because even on this move lower, we didn't really cross yet. If you got an early entry, that would have paid, but you could have bought this little dip to the 10 just because that is on the initial cross. And if you bought that 10 dip, you got a very, very big move out of it. So, the market did end up nuking. I don't even know how many points that gave. That probably gave like anywhere from 50 to 80 points, maybe even 100 depending on your entry. So, yeah, that's the great thing about the system. It lets you know when the market's going to move. When we get these 0-day crosses, most likely the market's going to pick up if we do get that cross. Sometimes if it's really, really choppy conditions, then maybe it won't. But, this cross paired with this 30-minute chart here going negative on the call side, pretty much confirmed that, okay, the bulls are losing this trend and we're going to see it move lower. That's what happened. But we still are at a weird spot just because the 1 hour chart, obviously, there's nothing really significant on this chart because the 50 SMA is still sloped up. If you look here on the 2 hour, we're sitting right at the 50 SMA in the 2 hour, and then we still have this 4 hour 50. So, we still do have some higher time frame areas of support on the call side, so it is possible that we could still bounce. And then if we flip to the put side of things, we ended up rejecting the 30-minute 50 again. As you guys can see, one rejection back in here on Monday, and then it gave another rejection today on that move lower on the 0-day cross on puts. So if you wanted to, you could have tossed some long on the table, but I mean, at this point, the bulls have been having the trend for so long, I probably wouldn't even take that, just because it is more likely that this 50 does break with how long the bulls have had the trend. So until this 30-minute on the puts cross, the market will be neutral going into tomorrow. We will know when the bears have the trend, obviously, once we get this cross on the call side. But for now, going into tomorrow, the market's neutral because the 10 is below the 50 on both sides of the premium. And even though we are, going negative on the 30-minute on the call side, I really don't have a bias just because we are sitting at that higher time frame area on the call side, 50 SMAs. And if I want to see some downside, I need this chart to cross here on the 30-minute on the puts. Then we know the bears have the trend and we focus on the short side. Until then, 0-day cross on either side of the premium will be the plan for tomorrow. There really wasn't much opportunity today. You could have played, like I said, the 50 SMA rejects on the 0-day chart. Those aren't as good setups. Those are kind of like scalpy type of plays, low risk entries for longs. But the better trades to look for: 0-day cross on calls or 0-day cross on puts. That's what we're looking for today, and we got the cross on puts because that we did know that the bulls were losing the trend since the 30-minute 50 got lost and the chart went negative. So that's why you could have played the put cross today. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the plan going into tomorrow. This is a short video, but actually, I do want to go over something else. I did take some Tesla today. This was a super small loss. It was pretty much, actually, I'm not even going to pull up the chart, but it was just playing the 30-minute cross, and the reason I stopped out of it was because the 30-minute on SPY was going negative, and I took a super small loss on it. It was like 7%, and the reason I stopped out was, again, this chart right here on the 30-minute. I saw that this chart was going negative, and a lot of times, SPY is going neutral. most likely those crosses on the individual tickers aren't going to play out how you want it to, just because that SPY is losing the trend. Most likely those crosses are going to end up giving up and going negative or something like that. So when SPY is going negative, I like to stay away from the 30-minute crosses. I try to give it some more time because at first this 50 was still sloped up, so I did give it a little bit of time to see if we could reverse back up, just because we were sitting at these higher time frame 50 SMA, so it was possible we would have bounced. But after the 50 turned down, stopped out for 7% on Tesla, is what it is. I mean, it's a super small loss. When I see the SPY chart going like this, it's not in my favor to be long individual names, so end up stopping out for 7% on Tesla. And yeah, tomorrow, like I said, neutral market going into tomorrow. Why? 10 is below the 50 here on the calls, and then the 10 is below the 50 on the puts. I'm just going over that again, just so you guys know if anyone's new. These charts will guide the way, man. There's nothing better, in my opinion, than trading these charts. It just gives you, it's just a very simple idea of where the market's going to go, what state we're in. You're just watching the Friday contracts to give you the current trend in the market. If calls are crossed, bullish, puts are crossed, bearish. If neither are crossed, we're neutral, which means more likely we could chop. And the 0-day crosses aren't going to net as big of moves. Sometimes they do give some good moves, but on the 0-day cross, look for your 50 points, get out. When we're trending, you could kind of squeeze out some more points, like 70 to 80 maybe. That's what I'd be looking for in trending markets. On the on a 0-day cross, I tend to hold a bit longer on those. But yeah, I'm telling you, man, if you guys learn how to trade these charts, watch all the videos on YouTube, you will do well. You just got to know how to trade these charts, because a lot of people trade them the wrong way. They add 20 other confluences to these charts, and it just makes it a lot harder to trade. It's very simple. We're just playing two SMA crosses we're watching the Fridays and we're watching the 0-day charts. Friday chart gives you the higher time frame trend and what to look for to trade the 0-day charts. So like I said, tomorrow I know we're neutral, so on the 0-day chart I'm just looking for a cross on either side, maybe a negative cross as well. If we're trending bullish, okay, what do we look for on the 0-day chart? We look for that 0-day cross on the calls, 50 dip on the calls, and then if we're trending bearish, same thing. We're looking for a 0-day cross on puts, 50 dip on puts after the cross. It's very, very simple. You just got to get the basics down on how to trade these charts. Like the 30-minute chart, I usually never trade directly off the 30-minute. My entries come from the 0-day chart. It's just a lot easier to manage because you have like a defined risk on a lower time frame. So a lot of the times I'm not just playing off this 30-minute chart. If I'm buying a 50 dip on the 30-minute, a lot of times I'm waiting for a 0DT chart entry, whether that's a negative cross on puts or like a 50 SMA rejection on the 0-day chart. Or if we're playing like a reject here at the 50, this is probably the only time that I would not look at the 0-day chart. It just depends on the scenario. It's different every time. So sometimes I will buy this direct tap of the 50 if I want to go long, playing the reject, or I'll wait for the 0-day chart if they're crossed to go negative to play this rejection. But today obviously the rejection happened, and it was towards the end of the day. The chart was the puts were still crossed, so you couldn't have really caught that move unless you just longed once we got near this 50. But yeah, it's just a little rundown, little tips of how to trade these charts, what I'm going to be looking for tomorrow. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed, drop a sub. Make sure you guys follow the Twitter. I've been posting a lot more over there. I dropped some free trades over there if you want to follow. Also some just knowledge on how to trade these charts. So yeah, join the Discord if you want to learn. Watch all the videos if you want to do well. I'm out. Peace.